at it because I have no idea about it.
Mr. Storyati with Mike Carey in Jakarta. Che Guevara, Fidel Castro and the Cuban Revolution have inspired those who see communism as the answer to social injustice. For the opponents of the Cuban regime, it's a dictatorship that couldn't save its people from economic disaster. But for others, the Cuban dream personified by Che Guevara is still alive. Leonardo Tamayo knew Che Guevara well. He met him in Cuba during the guerrilla campaign and was with him until the end, when Che was captured and killed in Bolivia. Leonardo Tamayo, known as Urbano, was in Sydney recently and talked to Irene Ulman.
Conocimos al Che en el año 57 y después de estar de mensajero de la columna se organiza la invasión de la Sierra Maestra hasta el Escambray. Cosa esta que, bueno, estuvimos ya de ayudante durante este recorrido muy fatigoso hasta todas las acciones combativas que tuvimos en el centro del país.
Leonardo Tamayo, better known as Urbano, was 15 when he met Che Guevara. Their association lasted 10 years. Now a veteran of the revolution, Urbano is traveling the world to tell the story of Che. For the left wing in Latin America and around the world, the story of the Cuban Revolution and its heroes, Fidel Castro and Che Guevara, has mythical proportions. In Cuba, it's the foundation of the nation. Fidel Castro became the father of the revolution. Che Guevara became its sacrifice.
La esperanza de un mundo mejor, la imagen por la cual vale la pena arriesgar la vida, sacrificarse hasta la muerte en los campos de batalla de todos los continentes del mundo.
John Brotherton, a Sydney academic, has been involved with Cuba for about 20 years. In the 1980s, he was the president of the Australia-Cuba Friendship Society.
That image of Che, which I guess is effectively perpetuated by his early death, which paradoxically, of course, immortalises him, carries on throughout the revolutionary period, and still every day the young Cuban children in their pioneer outfits every day say, "Pioneros por el comunismo, seremos como el Che. Pioneers for communism will be like Che."
Internacional de Estudiantes. Estudiaremos, creceremos, lucharemos en el evento de Che.
Porque no en todos los lugares se puede recordar al Che como se recuerda en Cuba, con un acto revolucionario, con un acto de masa. Entonces, lo recuerdan a través del pullover, de afiche, etcétera, de esta forma que se está manifestando en el mundo. Es como se recuerda a Che. Y creo, en lo personal, que es justo. Y que hay personas justas, honestas, que trabajarán para que no se pierda nunca el pensamiento del Che.
Urbano says the only thing today that's different about Fidel Castro is the colour of his hair. But many say he has failed to maintain the socialist utopia.
The truth is that there are people in Cuba now who have been with the revolution for 30-odd years and feel that they really haven't got very far because they're living on pesos, which are now devalued, and they're nuclear engineers and they're earning the equivalent of $20 a month. Of course, not all of those would say it was Fidel's fault, right? But some people would say, some young people would say, that repeating those messages, those notions of revolutionary fervour, have become somewhat anachronistic and inapplicable in a society which is attempting to be socialist in a world where there isn't a sort of socialist structure for it to be socialist within. And so, for some people, and I think still a minority of Cubans, the figure of Fidel has become anachronistic.
And Che?
Of course, Che has the benefit of immortality. This is the benefit of having died young. And of course, having died as an internationalist, having died in Bolivia, having died trying to stir up another revolution. Even the image of the dead Che, which of course also has profound Christian overtones, right, helps in that immortalisation of him.
John Brotherton has just returned from Cuba. He says his view of the country has become more critical in the last few years. But there are certain things that cannot be corrupted, despite the devastating economic situation, which is causing many disciples of the revolution to think again.
Do you find that you yourself idealise Che Guevara?
I mean, look at Che Guevara. I don't think that you can come to terms with that image of Che Guevara, either the physical image or the construct of Che Guevara, without doing that, because the only way to not be affected by it is to turn your back on it. And of course he's an intensely attractive man. I mean, men find him intensely attractive too. I mean, regardless of what they might say. I mean, he is. And so in a sense, he's the face that we would see in the mirror.
Last November, there was an 11-day search for Che Guevara's body after a retired Bolivian general claimed he knew where he was buried. The search sparked renewed international interest in Che Guevara, but the local Bolivians revered him as ever.
Decían que era un hombre santo, que lo habían visto y yo no lo he visto. Hombre santo que ha sido bien como es. Decía yo, ¿para qué lo mataban? ¿Por qué no lo dejaban? Decía yo, eso decía yo.
Bien que ya lo agarraron preso, no debían haberlo matado. Me duele el alma a mí de eso.
This villager was saddened by the thought that Che's remains may be taken away. She speaks to him in prayer every day.
Y yo le pedí al Che, le dije, don Ernesto, si usted quiere irse de aquí, de su pueblo de Valle Grande, que lo hallen. Y si usted no quiere irse, quédese aquí con nosotros, yo le voy a rezar toda mi vida. Y yo le rezo, le mando misa y siempre lo encomiendo a Dios. Soy religiosa.
I think today he represents almost a lost ideal, because Cuba's been thrown into turmoil and trauma by the collapse of the Soviet bloc and of the socialist bloc.
Che Guevara's demise is shrouded in controversy. In 1965, he relinquished his leadership of the Communist Party, his ministerial post and military rank to become a guerrilla fighter once again. Doubts are sometimes raised about Castro's motives in accepting his partner's resignation. But Urbano insists that Che Guevara believed it was his calling to continue the struggle elsewhere.
No es secreto para nadie de que la Revolución Cubana ayudó a los movimientos latinoamericanos, eso no es un secreto para nadie, y que se ayudó a Bolivia, o sea, el gobierno cubano ayudó económicamente y con 14 hombres, o 15 contando al Che.
One person who claims that Che was betrayed in Bolivia by Castro is Dariel Alarcón Ramirez, also known as Benigno. He was one of the comrades who went to Bolivia with Che and Urbano. Recently, he defected to France, where he published a book damning Castro's regime and claiming that the Cuban leader had sent Che to his death in Bolivia.
De acuerdo a que yo sé todo lo que Cuba podía hacer para sacar al Che de la selva en caso de que la organización hubiera fallado. Y no se hizo nada.
Yo no vine aquí para hablar de traidores. Y se ha manejado un poco por ahí la reacción, los destructores lógicos son los enemigos de la Revolución Cubana, ¿no? Que si el Che se fue disgustado con Fidel, que si Fidel se fue disgustado con el Che, eso nada más lo inventa el enemigo, lo inventan los Estados Unidos, los que quieren destruir la Revolución Cubana, los que luchan por el bloqueo, porque se mantenga el bloqueo en Cuba, un bloqueo criminal.
The US economic blockade has been on for 34 years, and it's still continuing. When it was first imposed in 1962, Cuba had no choice but to fall into the arms of the Soviet Union, for which it is now paying dearly. Last week, the US government tried to implement the Helms-Burton Trade Act, designed to punish companies dealing with Cuba.
But we would say to our allies, join us now in the effort to confine Cuban communism to the trash bin of history where it belongs. Join us in bringing the kind of pressure to bear on Fidel Castro and on that system that will bring about market economics and democracy in Cuba.
US President Bill Clinton put parts of the Helms-Burton Act on hold for 6 months. But it made many question yet again the fervour with which the United States has marginalised Cuba.
I think the revolution is a wondrous project for giving people their human dignity, but I don't think it discovered, and who has, a sort of political model which is as liberating as the dream would have it.
Y creo que no vamos a retroceder porque nuestra revolución nació sin marcha atrás. Y como nació sin marcha atrás, no retrocede. O sea, siempre va hacia adelante.
The bullet-ridden Moncada building in Santiago de Cuba is the site of the first attempt at revolution on the 26th of July, 1953. The children here know the story off by heart. With the passage of time, the symbols of the revolution may well lose their poignancy, but the tale of Cuba and the United States, of David and Goliath, may remain a source of pride to the nation for a long time to come.